I am Rosemary Ngwenya, a congregant at the parish of Meadowlands, which is known as the Church of the Resurrection, Meadowlands. The Church of the Resurrection was founded by the CR Fathers. CR stands for the Community of the Resurrections. The Community of the Resurrection. And the Community of the Resurrection founded the Church of the Resurrection after the forced removals in 1955. We came from Sophia Town and we were resettled in Meadowlands. Among the people that were resettled, there was a lay minister, Tate Mokgeti, father to Don, Osmatladi, Kono, and Khomotso. They lived in Masilela Street, just opposite Maschene Higher Primary School. And the principal of the primary school, Maschene, was Mr. Muledi, who headed St. Cyprian's School in Sophia Town, which was a mission school under the auspices of the Anglican Church. So I think it became easy for them to maneuver with or to arrange with Principal Muledi so that they hold their services in one of the classrooms. And one year, as we sang, a friend to Father Huddleston, who was the bishop of the Swedish Lutheran churches, wanted to know, now that we are settled at Meadowlands, what is happening. And he was told that the people in Meadowlands hold their services Komaschene, because by then, because of the history of Father Huddleston, we were almost the last people to get a site in Meadowlands. So the Bishop Wama Swedish, the Lutherans, arranged with Father Huddleston and the CR Fathers that we could, because they had already had a church, Zone 5, between Konam, Kabai, and Kosi Street in Zone 5. So, because their service Nekalaka 11 o'clock, they allowed us to hold our services between 8 and half past 10. We should be finished with our business. And by then, we were now settled in Meadowlands, Zone 5, Komguni Street. Among the fundraisers, the choir from Sophia Town merged with the choir Yako Meadowlands under the patron Andrew Ramila. He was a short man and partly handicapped, narola boot. So Nabamobita Papa Skoon, a musician of note. So on Saturdays, there was a bus arranged by Michael Ranto, which came from Sophia Town, Libatwako Western Native Township. They collected the choir from Meadowlands, because by then we didn't have a name. Narrowly perish in the air. We used to go to Uncle Tom's Hall and practice there. This choir, Nemejile Libo Jabavu choristers, we were the only church choir. The other people were choristers in the townships, like the Jabavu choristers. So we sang and we practiced go Uncle Tom's Hall, and we were going to stage a concert And part of the takings there would be given to Meadowlands to put in the coffers of building this church. We sang in a mass choir, and among the soloists we had Iris Litanka, a soprano of note, and we had from the church choir ya Christ the King, we had Alice Mollison, also Onabina Nezo soprano, and we staged this concert go City Hall in Johannesburg, and the audience was multiracial with a special permission from, I think, from the minister then was Dr. Korenhoff, if I remember well. And those coffers then were given to Meadowlands to add to the funds of building the church. Whilst we were still struggling, raising funds, I was in standard 8, go Meadowlands Secondary School. We got hold of Father Essen brought her sister, I would imagine a very wealthy sister from New Zealand, who donated a large amount towards the building of the church. Then, wow, it was the beginning of the great walk to Zone 7. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem.
Ha re tloga mo ka gore tlogela ko Sophattown re ntse re le a strong choir as nna ke le a member ya choir go tlogela ka bo 1948 ne ntse re le strong ha re kena mo ga re senke re felwe ke matla re kene ne re practice mo gare ga matlo a batsadi ba rona ne re ga re kopana kana go ngwe magala gore ba organize leng gore ba kopana gore ba tle mo nna bona fela ba para ba kena ka motlu dan room nyane eo e tlala re practice ke gore ga re etsa yalo ka mamoso ga re a kerekenyana ele enyane ele tla duma ka dipina tsa rona tsa kereke tse re di practice ne re le motlotlo ka church choir ya rona ene ile strong for nako e telle banne ba gole ba rona ba leka go aga kereke ya ba ya ema la re kena mo resurrection re tsene re le strong ne rena le bo Simon Ramela bo Mary Johnson bo Dorothy Jada bo Mhlongo ne re le bantsi church choir tsa khale ene le rato le teng re utlwana le pina e re dumela ha re bina re nne go ya yalo kereke ya nne ya gola ya tlamo go simola go kena ba bantšha ba ne ba re rotloetsa ba tsena ya ranna church choir e strong jaanong le gone jaanong ka nako re le mo yone COVID-19 e re shapile gagolo ke gore e re shapile go gotlhe mo ditshebeletsong tsa kereke ha re kgone go ya kerekeng ha re kgone go kopana jaanong tse di jwalo di re digile mewa ya rona mare modimo teng re tla tia go di tla boela sekeng sa tsone.
I was a server for that time. When the site had been acquired by the church to build their own church. Then building started, and on the day when the building stone, if I may call it that way, if that's the right name, Iblesiwa. This stone, foundation stone, that's what they call it. Yeah, it was blessed by the Dean of Johannesburg, then the Reverend Baron. I served as a server. I carried the cross. This happened in the afternoon of that particular Sunday. There's a school nearby where we had to change into our cassocks and the like in order to go to. And then we had a procession from there, processing to the site where the church was being built. I must, there's one thing that I do not forget. I was then working for the resettlement board as a clerk, Honako Zone 7. And as we were leaving the yard of that school next to the church, I forget the name, but it's still there, the school. As it is right now, the congregation, we use the yard there as a parking space for cars when the service is in progress. As we were leaving that yard, we had to go on to Maseru Road, that is the very road in which the church is built, to leave now to process to church. Somebody passed there, two gentlemen. You'll remember I said I was a clerk then, go Zone 7 office. Two gentlemen passed there, and I heard them discussing, much as there was singing going on, but this could not escape me what they were discussing. They were discussing me. And the one guy said, looking at me, I was serving cross bearer then, I had the cross here. This gentleman said to the other one, "Aw, kantile bo satane, ba surwala sefapana." Now, how I understood him saying that, because at the office you do get people coming for help, you do some people don't get very satisfied with the service you give them for whatever reason. So I got that, but I let it ride. Okay, we went to church, and this tombstone, the foundation stone was blessed, and we came back. The building went on, and until the day when the church was to be consecrated. This happened on that particular day. I was serving torchbearer. Well, many songs were sung. I was not in the church choir then. Many hymns were sung. Amongst them was Onward Christian Soldiers, and others, because the procession took some time from the school to the church. Yeah, it was a beautiful service, a marvelous service. Maybe, Peter, we spoke about the bishop who blessed the church then. I have forgotten the name a little bit. He was an archbishop. I don't know, was it Paget? Yeah, I think that's the name, yes, Archbishop Paget. Because then, if my memory serves me right, the Bishop of Johannesburg then was not available. It seems it was for political reasons. I think at the time we had Bishop Reeves, if I'm not making a mistake, as the Bishop of Johannesburg. And there were problems between him and the government. Yeah, so that is as far as our coming over here and the opening of the church. Well, we continued and then we attended, and then we moved on until I joined the choir where we were singing beautifully, and Abu Andrew Ramela, who is now late. The diocese originally was of the mind, and it had hoped to build a church in Hackroot Circle. That is where the circle there, where we've got the police station, the clinic and others. That's where they wanted to build this church. But unfortunately, the powers that be had earmarked that place for what is happening there now, the police station, the clinic, the post office and so forth. The spot or the stand that was acquired was the present one in Zone 7. Zone 7 is a multi-ethnic zone, if I may put it that way. Unlike maybe Zone 3, which is for the Sotho, Tswana and Pedi group, and Zone 5 being for Zulu, Xhosa, and some Tsonga groups. Zone 7 has got all the ethnic groups there. And the church is also composed of different ethnic groups. So it worked out well there, though the church has not practiced differentiating between different ethnic groups. So that was quite ideal. It was not a church that was built maybe in a Sotho section, disregarding maybe the Zulus or the what. We are a church that does not discriminate. We are one thing. We are one hope. We are a home for all ethnic groups. So, unlike, for instance, after the church was built, we had to bring in a black priest as the system then, of apartheid was practiced, and we couldn't bring a white priest to stay in the rectory here as rector, so we had to bring in a black priest. And then our first black priest was Father Mgoli, after Father Essen, because when we came in here, Father Essen was the first rector here in Super Town, in Meadowlands, I beg your pardon. Yeah, but then when the authorities refused him permission to stay in our rectory here, we had to bring in a black one, Father Mguli.
Dilo tse tsotlhe tsa kereke ne di le teng tsa disebo ne di re di tlhatswiwa ke mme le memamokgeti le rona. Then re di sa ko kereke ne tse tsa selalo table cloth ya kereke e tshwarang selalo di fapa se senyane sa kereke ne di dula mo ga memamokai. Six mokai o tsamile le Father Ariston ka nako ene ko kereke ba diseba di sa batlo tsamaya yani ne le seba ba a re tsamaye le tla bo. Six mokai ba tsamaya le Father Ariston le Huma Sekela Jonas Kwanka ke mo six a ke ding Huma Sekela ke le trumpet a witsa ke a ba ira theater. Six mokai then from there a ba ikrela sadinyana ko tenko e leng iyon a nna le bana ba babedi sentse ba le tenko ya Six a tlhokafalla ka kwa ra mo tlisa ka o ne a batlile gore a tle ko Meadowlands ko Sofia a bolokele le Father Ariston o tlile ka mo a bolokela ko Sofia town ka ko morago ka kwale mara o tšhisitswe o na le mo ko molora ko teng.
Ke goletse Sopata, then re tla Meadowlands ne re kena kereke ko Anglican Church ko Sopata. So after the removals we had nowhere to go. Baruti ba rona ba tsamaisiwa ba boela ko England ko ba tlhagang teng, but Father Ariston came back a boa a tlo reka kereke le back from the government. A ba bolela gore this is not a triumph, it's Sopia town. Ke ga reka kereke le back ya rona a rekela yona back, and then we started going back to church re ya kerekeng every Sunday. So the way re ha ile Palm Sunday, because maburi le makhalt ne ba sa itse nix re tswela ko ntle le moruti wa rona ke Palm Sunday ke procession re tsama ka Victoria Road ba tswile mo dintlong ba re shebile ba re makaletse ro tsia ka Victoria back to Ray Street again ntse re opela re tshwere di palms tsa rona re sa modimana be re kena ka makereke. But afterwards sometimes ka Sunday they started joining us batla kerekeng gore ba batla bona gore re tsang ka mo kerekeng ka mole ba tla ema mo di gating di tsa bona di bogola di baka di sa itse gore ke go etsa galang le bona ba se itse gore go etsa lang bana re tshwara se processing ya rona re ikopela ro ikenna ko kerekeng ba batla bona gore batho bana ba harmless ba bana nix started joining us batla ko kerekeng ya rona ge ba re visited and re ba mogela nice.
I would like to wish the incumbent, the people of God, and all those who come to this parish a blessed 60th anniversary. It doesn't come so smooth, but it comes as a reminder that each and every one of us, we picked our crosses, able to walk miles and miles with it. Today, the 60th anniversary, it makes us to be more saying we were fixing our eyes on the cross. And that on its own, it's a mission. That on its own is a calling. So never doubt this 60-year journey. Be aware and be assured that you travel with the very cross of Christ, and at times the very God, the very Christ, being among us, with us in this journey of 60th anniversary. May God bless you and give you more years in the journey of our Christianity, especially in this world where we are in Meadowlands, in the Diocese of Johannesburg. Amen.
kereke e mo zone 7 ke kereke ya Anglican mo Meadowlands a gona e nngwe ke yone fela e le one ya agiwa kereke ra simolla ra tsama kereke mo ra simolla ra bina di church choir re ya di competitioning ra simolla ra binela le Messiah re ntse re tsamaya lo le kereke re fitlhe mo e leng gore kereke ya nong e setse e gola e ba le batho ba bantsi e tlhabologa e le gore baruti ba botlhe ba kileng ba feta mo yone moruti wa pele ne le Fada Mkuni go tla Fada Mpenyeke go tla Fada Rakale go tla Fada Mpenyeke o na sebetsa le Fada Barnabas le Fada Motshweni le Fada Cyprian Moloi le Fada Archibald Sitole le Fada Ndawa ke ba kileng ba sebetsa mo Church of the Resurrection go ba go fitla le Fada Motau le ena a fitla sebetsa le ba na ba nentse ba golela mo kerekeng ba ileng ba tloga ba ruti ka mo kerekeng ba bantsinyana ba ileng gore ba bang ba bone ba ile ba tlhokafala ba bang mare ba santse ba phela kereke ya rona re ka re ke cathedral ya Soweto gobane e bopegile sentle e ntle ebile e kgona le go amogela batho ba bangata phuthego ya teng e ntsi re na le mekgatlo ka mo kerekeng re na le Mothers Union re na le AWF re na le Bennett Muzeki re na le Church Choir re na le St Mary le St Agnes ke bone batho ba active ga go loka mo kerekeng le phuthego ya rona le yone mare le yone e active go bane ena le dilo tse di etsang le go konmaka kereke re konmaka kereke ka di zone ka gone ya nong ha isa le ba COVID ga re sa kgona go tsamaya kereke gantle go bane nako nngwe kereke ya kwalwa nako nngwe ya bulwa kereke ya rona mo jareng e nkebe re tlo celebrate 60 years anniversary and ke kgolwa gore e ne tlo ba mokete o mogolo mokete o montle mokete o tla reng motho le motho a le mo kerekeng a ba itumetse a itse gore kereke e na le dijara tse kae.
And so as we grow, the older people died who were given leadership. We had people who come from areas like Mafeking, Lichtenberg, Rustenburg, who had a very strong liturgical sense of Tswana service. Now, because we come from Sofata, we were embedded in the conservative service of English. But because of this change, we had gradually had to go back to our mother tongue services. Now, people like Bontate Pule were very instrumental. We began to understand the prayer book in vernacular. Vincent. Lamitsa Katrina, who came from the area of Pretoria, they could actually go through the hymn book in Setswana. And so they taught us Setswana hymns. We had Itswale Diale. Diale also came from Saitya Pretoria, and he understood Tswana liturgy. And he was teaching us the canticles in Setswana. That was beautiful. We had a choir that originally came from Safata, but it too was conservative. It too was conservative. English hymns, English, ancient and modern. Then we started a choir, Yadiale, which sang Setswana hymns, blending with the canticles in Setswana. It was beautiful. It was a pride. And so grew the church. And Mataung came to be director there in Meadowlands. After, who was that guy who came from Everton? Mataung came with a brand of Natal, his preaching, and we got used to it. I think he's been there for over 27 years in the leadership. And we went well with him until he retired. But today, the church has changed because the old hierarchy, the old priests, they all left, went on pension. Then came a new breed of the new priests. Their preaching is slightly different from the old one because the preaching today is more academic. They are more learned than the old priests. They can execute the sciences and interpretations better than the old ones. And that is the growth of the church. Earlier on, the boundaries of the Diocese of Johannesburg stretched up to nearly the border of Swaziland. They also stretched up to Lichtenberg. And that placed a lot of stress on the bishop, especially for his pastoral duties. But when Duncan came into office, he realized, no, that's too much. Let's break up the Diocese of Johannesburg into smaller dioceses so that a bishop can visit those parishes over and over and within a short time. And so the Diocese of Johannesburg split into 3 pieces. One is the east, that is Germiston and Boksbeek and so forth. The other one is the Vereniging type. And so Johannesburg is now a smaller area which can be managed. And so the bishop itinerary for the year is a bit shorter than it used to be. And so 2 new other bishops were assigned to those new dioceses. And that is the growth of the church. the church was established in South Africa as the Church of England. It's a state church. But in 1850, we broke away from the English church to form CPSA. And in 2008, we broke away from the CPSA to form AXA, which is Anglican Church of Southern Africa. As it is now, we are Anglican Church of South Africa, Southern Africa. That's how the church grew. It encompasses the whole provinces of South Africa, Lesotho, Swaziland, Mozambique, Angola, I don't know which other state. Those are our boundaries today. And the head is the metropolitan, who is situated in Cape Town, unlike the Church of England, whose head is the king or the queen. And so we are an independent body, but we work together with the Church of England. We also attend the conferences starting and exchange information. The Church of the Resurrection came into being because of the CR's ministry. They bought a piece of land, they put up the structure, they did everything to accommodate us there. We were asked to contribute 10 rands per household, and was insufficient to put up the structure. Today, I think that structure is worth millions. I don't know, I haven't received the latest financial report, but my guess is it's worth about millions in terms of hard cash. It consists of the church itself, the rectory, and the creche, and is well maintained, is well paved. It's got a lovely garden there, and there are improvements every day. I've seen lately what the present rector has done. He's done a beautiful job completing what we left undone. So there's a lot of progress. Spiritually, I think the people of the Church of the Resurrection are rich, because what they learned from the older generations, they passed it to the younger generations. So they did not monopolize with that knowledge. So every person who belongs to the congregation knows exactly what management is of the church. Earlier on, when we came from Sophia Town, we're using, for our liturgy, we're using cards which were printed in Sophia Town. We didn't use the prayer books, but that liturgy card took us through the service, and it was common knowledge to us. In Sophia Town, we had a lesson in the classes from the CRs, just to bring us closer to God. We had a scripture lesson in the classes, maybe Mondays or Tuesdays, but Wednesdays we had a practice, these songs. And so we practiced the songs on Wednesday, and Thursday we had an instruction mass. But other people could attend to it, although it's mostly instruction. Other people could attend to it because genuinely it was a mass. It was a worshiping service. And the CRs taught us step by step what this holy service is all about. Every step, practical. They will show us the pattern and tell us the pattern is made of what material. They'll show us the wine before consecration and after consecration. It's now blood. Every step of the worship service. And so we are all embedded into this culture. Most of us were not Anglicans. No, we weren't Anglicans. But their method of evangelizing was very good. And people began to learn, to get to know the scripture and to practice it. As a result, it attracted many people to God. So our Anglicanism comes from the church, comes from the school, comes from the culture, English. And that is why it was able to bring many people to God. And that is the ministry of the church. It's got to witness. And they did exactly that. Assessment showed that the Anglican Church was growing by the day. And it was functional. So today we must be grateful from all our leaders, known and unknown, who planted the seed. We are the products of that seed.
In 2021, the parish of Meadowlands celebrates 60th anniversary of its existence. Originally, the people of Meadowlands come from Sophiatown. As the rector of this parish, as we celebrate this milestone, I give thanks to God for all my predecessors, the CR fathers, Father Mguli, Father Mpenyeke, Father Rakale, Father Mutaung, who followed in the footsteps of our spiritual fathers, the CR fathers. I thank God for the spirituality and the people of God I've inherited from those who came before me. I thank God specifically for this rich spirituality that I see daily as I interact with the people of this parish. I think they've been brought up in this rich Anglo-Catholic spirituality. I see that the 7 o'clock Mass and the 10 o'clock Mass, even our young people, they don't want to trade this spirituality for anything. And I thank God for the commitment of the parishioners of Meadowlands, for their love for God and for their love for the church. And I pray that I must leave for my successors this parish as I have inherited it. I have enjoyed working with the congregation as their father in God. They are what keeps me going as a priest. They give me that energy to do more because they respond to our pastoral ministry. Therefore, I want to preserve the spirituality and hand it over to those who come after us. And I hope they'll continue in the spirituality that we have inherited from the CR fathers. In Soweto, I think the parish of Meadowlands is one among many that has maintained this Anglo-Catholic spirituality. Therefore, I pray that God, for the next 60 years, we may continue in this inheritance of faith. What I like most about the people of Meadowlands is their love for God and their love for their church. You don't struggle when you ask them to do anything. They are ready to come forward as their Father in God. Therefore, I enjoy the relationship that we have. Majority, I can say they love God from the bottom of their hearts. Therefore, I wish God may continue to bless them as we celebrate our anniversary. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we don't celebrate the way we want to celebrate. But God willing, 2022 will continue with the celebration. And I thank God that God has blessed this parish with a lot of young people who are going to learn this tradition and take it to the next generation. We've got lots of young people in the youth, young people in the Sunday school. And I'm told that even in Sophia Town, the youth was active, the Servers Guild was active, the Sunday school was active. Most of those who come from Sophia Town, they are adults, but they still remember their spirituality, and they are rearing by the CR fathers and the successors of the CR fathers. Therefore, we thank God for this parish, and I won't trade this parish for any other parish. I wish this parish luck as we celebrate our anniversary. I pray that we may grow and God can continue to bless and prosper parishioners of Meadowlands.